couldn't see my potential, so I had to show them.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
Today, I'm the CEO of my own company.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Why are we not rethinking this?
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
Do you have prediabetes? If you do, you're not alone. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, and more than 80% don't know they have it. Prediabetes is a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. But now, North Carolina residents with prediabetes can enroll in a free or low-cost national diabetes prevention program. You can make healthy changes with support from this proven program. Get started now at joinaprogram.org.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. That I know what you're going through. I know things aren't easy, but you still show up. I wonder if you know that we can get help. That we don't have to go through this alone. Let's see how far we can go. Love your mind.
Guys, thank you for joining the Anna Linzie Show. I am here every Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am so glad that you, my audience, has tuned in this evening because I have a special guest that I want you to know. I mean, I tell you, this gentleman here with me, I am just excited about all of his service and what he has put into the community and what he is doing as an author, as in service again. So I am not going to hold any longer. I have my good friend, Mr. David Brown, here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, and thanks for joining me on the Anna Linzie Show.
Thank you.
Great. Again, I read over your bio. I heard about some of the things that you do, but I am just impressed with, and what I see is a lot of service. Is that what you aim to do and have aimed to do throughout your life, is be a service?
Yeah, that I from the age up, coming up from 10, my dad being a pastor and a preacher, being around the surroundings, 5 or 6 brothers, one was passed on. My mom married to a preacher. It set the presence. And then 3 sisters. So there's 9 of us all together.
Yes, that's what I read. 9 of it. Now, where do you come in the 9?
I'm the last male boy.
Oh, wow.
Me and my sister was the youngest. So we hung out more together. So it was 9 kids in a 3-bedroom.
9 kids in a 3-bedroom. Yeah. And you are a native of Galveston, Texas, right?
Yeah,
Galveston
Island.
Island, Galveston Island. You're right, correct.
Yeah.
All right. So, how did that shape you and your ideas today? I'm sure that coming from such a large family, being the youngest, watching everyone else do, how do you think that shaped you?
What it did was you get a chance to see 5 brothers make mistakes.
Okay.
And so you learn real quick what not to do. And then I had 3 other sisters. So, you got 7 different things to see, 8, excluding me, 9. So you're watching 5 brothers make mistakes and you get corrected. So you're looking at it 5 different ways. So you kind of catch on what you not need to do. So that was kind of easy for me, just sitting back because you're the youngest, so you got a lot of people ahead of you.
Yeah, you have an example, but it's good that you obviously you paid attention and you knew what you wanted, as an individual and what you didn't want.
Yeah, I grew up in the '60s, so the structure was a little different.
It is. I agree.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I want to go ahead and get into your bio. In doing that, before I get into your bio, I did talk to you about my word game. I don't want to forget my word game here.
All right, we'll do that.
You agreed to go with me on it, right?
I did.
All right. As we have said, I'm going to give you a word.
Okay.
You tell me the first thing that comes to mind with that word.
Okay.
First word is relationships.
commitment.
Great. Vision.
Discipline.
Discipline. Great. Family.
Faith.
Faith? Why faith with family?
You know that they used to say family that pray together
Mm-hmm.
stays together.
Okay, I get that.
And so when you say family,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed during the holidays, people often say we're gonna pray over the food, we're gonna bless the food.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when there's family, so faith comes in to family. You know, I was always taught you don't want those F's on your report card.
Uh-huh.
You know, without faith, without family, without friends, without the finances, you got 4 F's on your report card.
Oh, wow.
That's why that word came up to mind.
That's good. And it's good because faith and family, that brings it together. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Forgiveness.
Patience.
You have to be patient
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times you forgive a person, but the patience is they may not be ready, or God may not be ready, to accept the forgiveness because it might not be in the right way. And so the forgiveness comes with patience. I hear people say, "Well, I forgive you, but I haven't forgot it." So it takes a little while for that to kind of sink in a little bit. They forgive you, but now they got to get past the healing part.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I agree.
Yeah.
I believe that too. And you have to be mature to see it that way and give people time to whatever end of it that they are on, and even for ourselves, the boundaries that come along with that.
Right.
Time to give them the boundaries, give them the time. I like that. Music.
Music, fun comes to mind. Music, fun, because the music genre is so vast. It's so in depth. It could go on and on, different categories. For different music. So I've been a drummer for over 35 years. So when you say music, I was brought up under music. Musicians. Different musicians coming up through the church. Played in an R&B band. Played in a gospel group, The Seasons. So worked with those guys on a CD called Committed. And so music is even right now, transition from COVID as a drummer to praise and worship tracks.
Okay.
On the praise and worship team at the church at Greater Mount Calvary.
Oh, wow.
And Pastor T. Allen and his wife, Janet Allen, the sister. So.
Is that here? Is that in Galveston or is it in
5202 K? Yeah, in Galveston.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, he's been the pastor there for over 20 years. So, and they've been married over 40 years.
Wow.
She's my younger sister.
Oh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sister. Yeah, she's the youngest out of 9.
Okay, awesome. So, what you said, did you do praise and worship? Do you sing or do you?
Yeah, I do praise and worship. I'm a praise and worship leader,
Oh.
and I'm on a praise and worship team. We organized that right before COVID, about 2 years before COVID. And we had no idea, COVID was coming, and it just, how it happened because the churches now is getting away from mass choirs because of the numbers. During COVID, people didn't want to be close to each other. Some people want to put on masks, some people not. So we organized a praise and worship team. So that's what I was part of.
Great. I actually heard just recently that just through bypassing that people are wanting mass choirs back. What do you think?
I think they may want it, but I think the numbers and the people not supporting it. It depends on what. Like if you're a metropolitan area, if you're in a small area and the population is out there, say you live in a city less than 150,000, the odds are you're not going to get a mass choir.
Isn't that interesting how times change?
Yeah.
And shape us and what we do.
Social media.
Even in that, go ahead.
Yeah, I say social media, 50, 60 years ago, when they had that scripture, bring ye the tithes to the storehouse, that's the transportation people had, Now you have so much to offer now. And so the attendance now is online. It didn't have that many evangelists online. It was the radio, newspaper, or you had to go to worship. And I remember when some churches in the country, they waited one whole month, you know, for service. It wasn't every Sunday.
Wow.
No.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But we can definitely see how times are changing and evolving.
Yeah, I think it's for the better. You know, it's just the standards. I think have changed for people.
Yeah.
People's standards have changed.
Yeah, I agree. We have one last word.
Okay.
Strength. What do you think about strength?
Think about people when I think about strength.
Okay.
I think strength is in numbers. You know, because sometimes, you know, you people, I think sometimes when we say we can do things, we quote that scripture, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. But I think most of the time we don't realize that we're going to need other people to do it. You know, that's when they call it strength, call it teamwork, you know. That's what it comes to mind.
I agree.
Say that word.
Yeah, strength in numbers, I agree. I'm agreeing with a lot. I keep saying that, but I do.
Yeah.
I really do. That's good. Can you tell me what's your favorite holiday?
Probably my birthday.
Your
I
birthday?
don't sound selfish, but
No,
just
that's
to, you know, I say that because I'm just thankful just to get to another year.
Yeah.
You know, and then I didn't realize it. A lot of times you don't realize it when you make a birthday, somebody else got a birthday that day too. You know, or that month. And so you kind of celebrate with them. You just be thankful that you live to see another year.
Yeah,
You know?
that's my birthday's coming up. When's your birthday?
July 5th.
July 5th.
Yeah.
Okay. My birthday's New Year's Day.
Oh wow.
So when you guys think, you know,
Yeah.
New Year's Day, you're thinking of New Year. Hey, think about me. Think about me.
There's a lot going on.
And just recently, you know, David, I was thinking, it's your born day. I get excited about my birthday too. Yeah, I do. Because it's the day that you were birthed, and that's a big deal. Some people think about birthdays and they just like, oh, it's just another day. But if you really look at it, you know, that's a creation. You're created, and that's something that man can't do. So I just look at it as just, that's a day that I was created. And I just put a little more emphasis on that thought.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of special to me. I mean, it's like, you know, yeah, I'll think about other holidays and different things, but if you don't celebrate a birthday, you won't get a chance to celebrate the rest of them. So
That's true. That's true. And I think it's just profound, just being created.
Yeah.
Mankind, you know, it's a miracle to me. Or it's definitely, gosh, it's a miracle. Like, it's hard to explain how we operate in, you know, with all the cells and, you know, just all of it, you know, just the breath that we take. It's not something that we can go buy.
right,
So I think it's a miracle.
you don't want to take it for granted.
You don't want to take it for granted.
No.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. You
Right.
don't want to take it for granted. Okay, one more. I just want to, I'm curious. What's your pastime, David? Or your favorite pastime?
I play drums. I try to sit and think every day. Just kind of take about 20, 30 minutes just to think about like a review of my life and say, okay, I'm grateful and I'm thankful, you know, for where I'm at now, the moment. You know, I had to retrain my thoughts. Pastime is just trying to make sure I keep busy. And I know sometimes people say, well, you know, your pastime should be just kind of like downtime when you rest. But sometimes, you know, for me, it's just going on patio, just, you know, looking out and just, you know, taking a moment, you know, to take in the air. You know.
I think that's a good pastime. It's almost like meditation, you think?
Yeah.
Sort of, is that what you're,
Yeah.
sort of?
Yeah, you know, every now and then I have some seagulls that come by or some birds. They're laying on the patio and I'm looking through the glass and looking at them. They're looking at me, and I'm thinking, wow, man. Just take a moment, you know, just to reflect on life. I think some of the simple things in life can be enjoyed. You know, it kind of motivates you. You know, because I think we complicate it sometimes. And life is sometimes it's just real simple.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I like the
Mhm.
simple things. I like the simple things, and I agree that, you know, it becomes stressful when we start complicating it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't want that. Okay. It is, you're obviously motivated just by reading your bio. What inspires you, or who inspires you?
Well, again, I had 5 brothers ahead of me.
Mhm.
So watching them, watching my dad, and watching the people around him, and then my grandmother on both sides, my dad's side and my mother's side, but mostly my grandmother on my mother's side because I spent a lot of time with her.
Okay.
She was more structured. You know, she reminded me of military.
Okay.
Wake up early. You know, if you sleep too late, you know, throw water on you. Make sure you get up. You know, she was real structured. You know, you learn how to swim through my grandmother. My grandmother taught us a lot because we spent a lot of time with her.
Mhm.
She had a meat market downtown Galveston. Well, it's not downtown. It was on 28th and Winnie.
Okay.
It's called Grand Tail Meat Market.
Wow.
So the last 4 siblings, Bruce, Felix, Janet, and myself, the last 4 siblings from the 9, we spent a lot of time with my grandmother because we were 8-10 years apart from my other brothers and sisters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What type of meat market was it? What?
It was she owned the meat market, and she had she owned the meat market, and matter of fact, she owned like half of the block, 28th and Winnie. She had rooming houses, rent houses. She had the meat market. She had her house, and then she had like a little, it's like a little tavern next door.
Okay.
Back in the day, people called it a juke joint.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We could hear the music
Yeah.
over there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we all worked in the meat market that she had. It's called Grand Tail Meat Market. And Bruce was working in the meat area, and sometimes we would substitute. Me and my sister,
Mm-hmm.
we ran the ice cream and the stuff in the front with the soda water, and then we stocked the groceries that she had when she brought them in from wholesalers.
Yeah.
So we did that, you know, for the most part when we was down there. So we always had something to do.
Wow. And your grandmother in that time, I mean, African American people, they were business minded, you know,
Yeah.
and passing it on. So I know, looking at my history, you know, my grandmother's being examples, being owning property and
Mhm.
so on, and watching makes it easier for you to just makes you easier. It makes it easier for you to do that.
Yeah.
Mimic.
Yeah.
Mimic.
Yeah, she ran the meat market. Her name was Leela Smith.
Okay.
And she ran the meat market. A lot of times she'd just come in and check on us and make sure we was doing this. And while me and my sister, while I was being the youngest, we used to have to stack soda water bottle,
Mhm.
the return, the crates. You know how you get the soda water in the
Uh-huh.
wooden crates?
Yeah.
We would stack them on top of each other to make steps, to make a platform so we could stand on. 'Cause the counter was so high you couldn't see us, we were so short.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, you know, we made a platform up and then across so we can actually stand. So it looked like we were taller,
Uh-huh.
but we were no more than, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think that, I mean, obviously, that's to answer my question, it obviously inspired you, so that experience inspired all that you, I keep looking at the bio, all that you've accomplished.
Oh yeah, the journey, I mean, it was, like I said, the discipline. I used to think
Mm-hmm.
she was being harsh
Mhm.
on us, you know, a lot of things that she used to do. But it taught me a lot of lessons.
Mhm.
It taught me a lot of lessons, even sharing different stuff, you know. So we brought somebody over to my grandmother's house, and there was company. If they were your company, you know, you brought them over, and it was time to eat, she would cut your sandwich in half
Mm-hmm.
and give half your food to the guests, and you eat the half. So you brought them in, you're going to share your food with them.
Mhm.
That's just the way she was, so.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, let me go ahead and share with the audience some of the things you have accomplished in life. You had already mentioned about your brothers and sisters. You said that you have two. You have 2 sons.
Yeah, David and
And-
Dylan.
David and Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan's in the military, and David is in Texas City.
Okay.
Mhm.
What branch of
He's
the
in the Air
military?
Force.
Air Force.
Yeah, and David is in management, so
Mhm.
he's in management, and he works in for Amazon. So, and then the two daughters came from the second marriage,
Yeah.
Taquisha and Alexis.
Okay, I have an Alexis too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Great. You graduated from Ball High.
1978.
Mm-hmm.
Been a minute.
Been a minute. But the Ball High alumni, you guys just had an alumni event, didn't you?
Yeah, I think they have one coming up on the 16th in Galveston. I can't think of where it is. Mostly, I think it's probably downtown somewhere, that location. But I forgot what year it's celebrating from where they graduated from. Because every year someone is holding one.
Oh, okay. Is that the way it is? Because it seems like it. You know, I'm from the Midwest, and had been here for a while. But getting to learn the community and the traditions and so on. But I have noticed that Ball High, you guys stick together. Reunions and so on. You guys stick together.
Yeah, Ball High and Central.
Central.
Yeah, Central had there's a lot of history. And so
First.
Central Bearcats, and so Ball High Tornadoes, that's the alumni. Then they have other schools here in the surrounding area, Tech City, Lamar, Dickerson, Hitchcock, stuff like that. But Ball High, because it's the county seat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why Galveston Ball is more popular, because they're actually in Galveston. Galveston is the county seat.
Okay, interesting. I'm learning more. I really enjoy being here and met a lot of good people, and you guys have pretty much taken me in, so I feel like I'm part of you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. So you are a Class A barber. What does that mean?
Class A barber is the license that you get, from the state of Texas, Austin.
Okay.
You go through, you get certified. I think they reduced the hours now. When I finished 44 years ago, I was a teenager. 55 North Lamar is the address. It's just sketched in my head from where I went, and you take the exam. Every month, the exam is done in a different place. So the barbers, one Monday might be in San Antonio, the next one it might be in Dallas, Houston. They alternate, govern the board. The board governs where the board's going to be. And so you qualify so many hours. I went to Morton Barber College, downtown Houston.
Is that something that you just knew you were going to do or wanted to do? How did the barber, because you have an extensive history here with hair owning businesses. You're co-owner, you own barbers, a hair place.
Yeah, my second dad, Eddie R. Stanford, that's how I got started. When he married my mom, I was 11 years old. He had Stanford's hair. It's on the corner of 31st and M.
It's still there?
Well, we sold the building.
Okay.
But we was on that corner. My family was on that corner for 30 years. He was cutting hair for 40 years. And so in the 8th grade, he's married to my mama. He's my second dad. So he called us in a room and set us down and asked us, what do you want to do? And I was in the 8th grade, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I'm in the 8th grade. And so he gave me, I think, 2 or 3 weeks to come up with what I want to do. I thought I was going to go to music. But, his words was, if you don't have a plan, I got a plan.
That's good, all
Yeah.
right.
And
Did
so-
you think it was good?
At the time, I really wanted to go to music.
Okay.
But he had an outcome for the plan. My plan was, that's just something I wanted to do, music. I had no chart for the finances part and stuff like that. And so he knew where I was on. He knew I was going to school. He knew where I was going to stay. Over the business. He already had a vision on what me and my brothers were going to do. And I was in 8th grade, so it was kind of scary for me because I had 4 more years to go to school. And so back then a lot of parents was prepping you early. You're going to go to school. You're going to get a scholarship. You're going to go to the military. You're going to get out of here. They always gave the young ladies more time to stay at home. My sister had more time to stay at home than us. So I knew his plan was a better plan because he was already a barber. He was established, and he had a business. He owned a building. He's married to my mom, you know, with 4 kids. So I mean, it was a win-win for me. You know, I figured what I got to lose. You know, here's a man taking care of me, my 2 brothers, and my sister, with my mom, and you know that was unheard of. You know, for a man to marry one with 4 kids. You know, so I really respected him. I really respected him because he said what he was going to do. He meant what he said, and he did it. And so, and I watched the way he treated my mom. She was happy, and so she was happy. I was happy. You know, so it made it easy for me.
That's good.
To make that choice. Me and my brother Felix, we both went toward the hair business, and then my sister Janet, she ended up in the hair business, and then my oldest brother, before he passed, Willie, he went into the hair business, got his license, and my mom was a hairstylist too.
Wow, the whole family, you know, the whole family. Which hair business is a $1 billion industry.
Yeah, and my sister Rashida too. Okay. Yeah, she had got her license, so we was all in Stanford together at one time.
Wow.
You know, it was my mom.
How was that?
Yeah, Rashida, Willie, Janet, Felix, me, and we were all in that corner together, Stanford's hair. You know, right after he retired. So.
How was that? Was it fun?
Yeah, that was a lot.
Brought you closer?
Oh yeah, you know, we went to lunch together, we ate together, we did a whole lot of stuff together. About both of us, all of us being in the same business. We shared a lot of different stories together.
Sure.
So it was a family shop. At one time, we renamed it Stanford's Hair Care Center because there were so many people there offering so many different services. And then when my mom retired, we just went back to Stanford's Hair.
Okay.
It was just me and my brother, and then my sister opened up another shop, First Impressions. And so she kind of branched out. You know, we always knew that she wanted to open up another business, and we supported her.
Right.
To that day, you know. So.
Do you still do barber work?
Yeah. In 2004, I ended up purchasing another building. It used to be Joy's Hair World, 2610 Market. And then I purchased it and changed it to the Hair Place.
Okay.
Which is now.
Okay.
Yeah, and then right next door, we have a studio called Studio B.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Well, it was a vacant part of the building. And what I did was just remodeled it and turned it over to revenue and made it out of a rental. And so right now I'm leasing the building out, and then I do the studio maybe once every 2 or 3 months in the same building.
What is it? What type of space is it? Is it like event planning or?
You could do speaking events. It's about 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
It has access to parking in the back and the front. Market Street in downtown has been renovated pre-COVID and even after COVID. Changed the lighting. The streets are different now. The pavement is redone. They've done a whole lot of extensive work down there. The curbage is different, you know. And so it's been through a whole lot of renovations. So it's a whole lot better area.
And how can someone rent the space? So you say you can hold events there. You can. What else? What's some other ideas?
They can reach me by email. You know, my email is davidjbrowndrones@yahoo.com, or they can reach me by my phone number, 409-771-1449, or the building 409-770-0667. You know, or they can contact you for referral. You know, so I also do referrals too.
Definitely contact me.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and that's available at,
for events.
For events.
Speaking events and small. Oh yeah, it's 1,000 square feet.
Awesome. That's good to know. That's good to know. Well, you went to Dudley's.
Went to Dudley's training. Dudley's is a training facility for extensive, if you want to advance more in the hair training. And so my sister went to the campus. Me and my sister, we took classes under Dudley instructors. They come down and they hold workshops. But she actually went through the Dudley training facility. She actually went up there to North Carolina. That's where it's based at.
And if anyone knows hair and stylists, when you have the Dudley's stamp and credentials, that means you are top.
Yeah, Dudley was pretty strict. How he ran his business, his products, some of the people and salespeople. At first, they didn't allow their products to be on the shelf for commercial use. It was only privatized. So if you wasn't a Dudley representative and you didn't pay your fee, you couldn't really sell the products. And so I don't know how it is now. You know, when I was using Dudley products, I had hair then. So, I mean, you're talking about a while back now. Yeah.
Yeah, but the name, the Dudley's company and business, the company precedes itself. It means you are you're lead in what you do, and that's impressive. Yeah, that's impressive. I'm a cosmetologist. I have a licensed cosmetologist. Okay. I do not practice. I haven't practiced for years, but back in the 80s, 90s when I did, Dudley's was there. And okay. Yeah, so I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, that's good products.
So did you do the retail part of it? Because I know there's a cosmetology part. You just mentioned the retail part.
We actually sold their products. We had a Dudley salesman come by once a month or twice a month, and they would come in and actually set up and stock the shelves and you know what they need to do. Okay, great. Well, you know, it's just, again, I'm really excited to be able to share a lot of your accomplishments, and we're not done. There's more. You are an author, you're a musician, and we want to make sure that we get to the some of the other accomplishments and the details that you're going to share with us in regards to. I'll be glad to.
Yeah. So right now we're going to take a small break. I have with me my dear friend, Mr. David Brown, who again, he's an author, but you can tell, I mean, he's experienced and have accomplished several things. And
thank you.
We're going to get right back into it in just a moment.
Thank you.
And is this with the doctor or is this with the nurse practitioner? Fantastic. Dad, lunch. Got some soup for you.
You are loved.
Oh, you. Look at those freckles.
This was very much.
You are valued. You are strong. You are resilient. You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving.
Baby, you see, you're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, never gonna let you go. Baby, never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Hey, you guys, we are back, and I am here with my special guest, David Brown, and we have been talking about his life and his accomplishments and his achievements, and we have more to talk about. David,
Thank
again,
you.
thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining me.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're
Thank you.
welcome. So, I know that you have been a hairdresser. You have owned businesses, and you're still on business, several businesses. But you're also in the law enforcement field.
Yeah, Galveston County Sheriff Department.
Yes. What do you do there?
Well, I started in '96 for TDCJ. I worked at TDCJ at a Max unit, a Darrington unit. That's where my training started. And then from there, I lateraled to Galveston Sheriff Department. I did 22 years at TDCJ, Darrington unit. Then I worked at Hospital Galveston, worked at Carroll Young, and then I did transport training. And so, yeah, use of force training also. And then my career ladder after I left there, I went to the Sheriff Department.
Why law enforcement? Because don't you think? I mean,
Yeah.
it's hair barbers mastering the skills, going to the highest level with it, into law enforcement. Tell us, I mean, how did you get there?
1996, I went through a divorce.
Okay.
And I had to have insurance on my boys, two boys, David and Dylan. And so when I found out how much the insurance was going to cost me as a self-employed barber, my friend suggested that I go. His name's Lester Green. At the time, he was a sergeant. He's a lieutenant, he retired. And he suggested I go to Huntsville and take the test. And that's where I went from there. I took the test and I ended up doing 22 years there. And so it gave me insurance as a single parent dad. And so that was a big motivator.
That was a big motivator.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, I didn't. At first, I didn't like it, but you know, when I got there, I realized that God had said, "Look, you know what? You're supposed to be right here,
Okay.
but I'm gonna put you on the other side, and I'm gonna put you in a uniform, so you get a chance to see what it looked like had you keep doing what you was doing." Because you know, a lot of my friends, these guys that did time. Some of them have passed away now. Some of them got shot. Some of them got killed. And so, like I said, growing up in a structured home, my dad being a pastor, my mother, my grandmother, it was structured. And so I was constantly being reminded, this is not you. This is not you. And when I got the job in '96, it was a reminder that this could have been you. And so, you know, it gave me a chance to practice my skills for us talking, because the inmates had to listen. They couldn't go nowhere. And so I really practiced on them, you know, from '96. You know, I started my motivational speaking.
Yeah, I was going to say, as the motivational speaking.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's why I started right then, because I had 66, 80, 90 guys to listen to me behind bars. And I used to talk to them and listen to their stories, and we talked back and forth. So it kind of launched my platform.
Do you find yourself having the opportunity to help them with your motivation speaking? What does your motivation content contain? Do you have
my life experiences, first of all, listen to their life experiences.
Okay.
And I didn't, you know, a lot of times people see the prison and the judicial system from their side of view. But when you work on the other side and you see and you're on the inside with them, you realize how blessed you are, because you can leave every day. They can't. And then some of them are there by nature. Some of them are there because the environment they grew up in or whatever happened to them. And some of them need to be there.
Okay.
And I used to tease them all the time. You know, I used to tell them, some of y'all don't need to be let out until Jesus come back.
Really?
You know? And they used to laugh at me all the time and say, wow, that's serious, you know. But some of those guys, you know, that's where they need to be.
Wow.
And you got some people, a percentage of them, they don't need to be there because the judicial system, lack of finances, lack of attorney, being in the wrong place, you know. And then stuff came up during the year, doing what they call DNA. You know, DNA kind of clarified a whole lot of different things. So I learned a whole lot, you know, that part of my life, and then working transportation. And then TDCJ had 120 different units in the state of Texas. So I got a chance to work with a lot of different diverse people.
Yeah, yeah. Do you find yourself talking and seeing lives change just because of your motivation speaking and the influence that you have with them?
It changed my life totally. It reminded me how blessed I was in the situation I was, and it put me in a different mindset to let me know, like I said again, this could have been me. And so it just made me, put me in a familiar of gratitude. That's what it did for me.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the inmates, them too, just the way you handle them are.
Yeah, I mean, you go through a certain training, TDCJ. TDCJ training is a little different from the Sheriff Department. Sheriff Department, you can actually lateral and go into certified law enforcement.
Okay.
TDCJ, you would top out at CO5, and then you can go up from sergeant, you know, to lieutenant, to captain, to major, or even warden, assistant warden. And law enforcement is a little bit different. You could actually lateral toward being certified police officer.
Okay.
Even though you can make rank, you know, as corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and major, or either chief. So they had different lateral step ladders opportunities for his career.
So you have retired from the
TDCJ.
Yes, you retired and you stayed in it.
I stayed in 22 years. I retired early. Some people stayed 30, 35 years, you know. I opted out, you know, and then I went to the Port of Galveston for a little while, and didn't like that, getting up early in the morning. I used to work down there, but then I went back to my my barbering full time.
Oh, okay.
You know, so, you know, I've been doing that now with 45 years. So I've always cut hair.
And that's why I say, you know, when I read your bio, that's why I said you're a man of service, because all of this sounds like service. I mean, the church, the barber, and then the law enforcement.
Yeah,
I mean,
staying busy.
Yeah, you're serving. So that's commendable. So your favorite instrument is percussions?
Drums, yeah. Drums and timbales and percussions. So, yeah.
Yeah. In which you have been in the mass choir, right? And you've also done and educated in music theory.
Yeah, the different classes. Sometimes you have different workshops, from Michael McKay to LaVonna Whitaker, to working with different musicians in this area. They've been around a long time. A lot of the organ players that most people in this area know, Herman Solomon and a lot of other musicians in this area, that's been around for years and decades. You know, and so I've worked with them at different workshops. And so participated in different churches. I played on music staff at, I think, 6 different churches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
As a percussion?
As a percussionist, you know, as a percussionist, I played at, I didn't play at my dad's church, unfortunately, I was too small.
Oh.
But I played at my brother's church, the Gospel Baptist, Pastor Brown, Nathaniel Brown. And then from there, I lateral to Jerusalem with Pastor A.S. Johnson. And I went from there to Greater St. Matthews, Pastor Randall, William Randall, now. And then Joel Clay at Hopewell. And then I lateraled from there to Compton, played at West Point under Compton's under Pastor Woodard, and at West Point under Kerry Tillman, played under his ministry for a while. And then I lateraled to Greater Mount Calvary under Pastor T. Allen now.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
yeah.
But I mean, but you obviously are skilled at what you do and gifted at what you do.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you never get to the point where you there. It's always a learning step.
Okay.
You know, you're steady learning, because musicians, you know, the music is changing. People say secular gospel, but the music is changing. You know, a long time ago, it just had the hymns, and you know, you had the basic maybe organ at the church. Then the drums came in, and then the guitar players, and now you got a full band, the guitar player, bass player, horn section, violins, you know.
Yes.
Some churches now have a whole band, you know, a whole section, you know, so it's different. The production team is different now.
Yeah.
At the churches.
That's interesting. That's interesting. With everything that you have accomplished, for the audience that's watching us, what would you tell your younger self?
My younger self.
Yes, your younger self.
Wow. I would tell my younger self, as a reminder, not to listen to people that's has a failure rate. if I could redo anything, I would probably remove myself from some of the failure rate. Just spending too much time in a failure area. You know,
Okay.
'cause I always believe that F students should be teaching.
Student, you want to expound?
F students, well, I think, well, you know, in school we had like AB honor rolls used to teach tutoring classes.
Okay.
So in order to actually teach and tutor, you had to be an AB honor roll student. Well, in today's society, according to the smartphone and all the different social media, you know, you got so many people out there now that's putting themselves in a teaching mode.
That's true.
You can get certified online now.
That's true.
You know, and so things are changing so much now, you know, from social media has really turned into a training ground instead of the home.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what yes. So that is that's interesting. So as a musician, you have been awarded received the male musician of the year.
Yeah, at some point, I played at on music staff. They call it workshops. I played different workshops. Michael McKay, LaVonna Whitaker, Herman Solomon, Jackie Smith, Divinity, Ed Johnson and Praise, and I also played with a gospel group, The Seasons. Mike Nichols was our keyboard player. Billy Brown was one of our lead singers, and Whitney Kirkland was one of our singers. Anthony, he passed away, and we had another guy named Tuffy, and then we had even Jerome Stinson was on board with us with The Seasons, and we had another guy named Darryl that played keyboard, and Damien, he's in Dallas, and then Terrence Bell, another one of our singers. And so Seasons was together for probably about 6-7 years. We did a tour with Ed Johnson and Praise and Jackie Smith and Divinity.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, it was Gospel 1360.
I don't, but it's definitely thorough.
He has Ed Johnson had a CD out called "Where Are the Christians." You probably can pull it up. He won a Gospel Stellar Award for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Great. So a wide range there.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all that?
That was a lot of fun. Sharon Johnson was real strict. She kind of like structured a lot of stuff for us. I learned a lot from them. Ed Johnson and Praise and Jackie Smith and Divinity. But Sharon was our mentor. Ed had assigned her to us as a group. And stage presence and a lot of stuff. Discipline. That's where I learned a lot of that from her.
I would love to see that. I would love to see you in action.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are, you know, just to highlight a few more, you're a member of the Galveston Chamber. You received the NAACP Image Achievement Award. You're a member of the Boys' Rite of Passage.
Marilyn and Sherilyn Thomas, Galveston Chamber of Commerce, we was a member of them under the African American Chamber of Commerce, who was an extension from them. But since 2004, I think 2004, I had a stroke in 2004.
Okay.
And so I just became vice president of the African American Chamber of Commerce, Galveston County. So the board was affiliated with Galveston Chamber.
How does that, what's the difference between the African American and the regular, or the other chambers of commerce?
The Galveston Chamber covered the whole Galveston County. The African American Chamber of Commerce of Galveston County covered the African American businesses. So we concentrated on basically the businesses that was ran by African Americans because we were not represented. They had LULAC also. So LULAC had a chamber too. LULAC had a Spanish chamber.
Okay.
So every culture had their chamber. And then we got together, you know, Galveston Chamber of Commerce, African American Chamber of Commerce, Galveston County, and then LULAC got together to, you know, to make a coalition.
Do you still do that today?
The African American Chamber of Commerce no longer exists now. Okay. It was founded by my brother Willie B. Brown, it was my grandmother, Leela Smith, and my mother, Mary Joyce Stanford Green Thompson. You know, so she was the only, she got married 4 times. She only divorced once. So my mom lived to be 90. My grandmother 92.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it should be an African American chamber?
I think it should be. Organizing it is one thing, and then the commitment is another.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I had a stroke in 2004, I opted out because of my health. And it took me a year and a half just to recover, get back. I lost about 5-10% of my memory.
Oh, wow.
And then I was out for about a year and a half, you know. I was working at TDC at the time. And so I went on short-term disability, then I went on long-term disability. And then I went back in 2005.
Okay.
And then I retired in 2015 and I went to the sheriff department.
I'm glad you're good.
Yeah. I think some of the stuff I need to forget.
No, but I'm glad you're good. I'm glad you're good with it. Now, one of the reasons why you and I connected is through you being an author.
Okay.
And I want the audience to know that you are a published author.
Okay.
You have 2 books out now, and then several that you have written that has not been published yet. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have Pimping and Preaching is out now. It's on Amazon.com. And then I have what they call the basic. It's called the Listen Rule.
The Listen Rule.
Yeah, I condensed it down to like a pamphlet.
Okay.
And then I have 4 other books I haven't released yet.
Tell me about the Listening Rule. We'll start with that one first.
Working at TDCJ, I was watching, I worked at the Carry Young unit for about 8 years, and I was watching so many of my friends come into the unit for domestic violence, different things, even females. And I found out what they all had in common was they just didn't listen.
Oh, wow.
This is real simple. So I basically, when I started writing the book, The Listen Rule, I knew they wasn't going to look at it if I put it in a domestic violence platform. They were probably going to shy away from it. So I just renamed it The Listen Rule. And so what I did was, I broke it down to a pamphlet so it could be a short, summarized summary. It's like a synopsis of what the book was about. And what it is about is when people come together, sometimes their personalities, just don't mesh. For some of the reasons, like food, we don't agree to it. And so sometimes you got to walk away. Yeah. And so you got to learn how to listen to each other. So basically that's where it came from, just the Listen Rule.
Why? How did you inspire to be an author? Where did the writing start?
Taking notes, listening to people over and over again, people's stories. Cutting hair, working in the prison unit, looking at my friends, looking at their life stories. I started off just getting little note tablets from the dollar store.
Okay.
Little dollar notebooks, and just start making notes. And then I started jotting stuff down, and next thing I know, I think I had about 12 note tablets full of information, so I was like, I need to do something with this.
Okay, and that's how, did you always want to, or it just really did form like that, just knowing that you had this content, and let's turn it into...
Yeah, I'm working at the back gate at the unit, working night shifts, you got a lot of time, and so putting information, I listen to people's stories. It's like you taking notes, and I kind of figured these people got something in common, and then I get another note tablet and fill it up with this and fill it up, and then stuff from females, stuff from males, stuff from the church, stuff from my job, and next thing you know, like I said, I had about 9 or 10 note tablets full of notes, and so from there I just formed into books.
Just in you that this is going to help someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about Pimping and Preaching? That's an interesting title there.
Yeah, Pimping and Preaching came along. My dad was a pastor, a preacher, then become a pastor. And then my brother announced his calling to be a preacher, then became a pastor. And then my brother-in-law, Reverend R. Lee, announced his calling to be a preacher and then become a pastor. And then my brother-in-law now, which I serve under him, Pastor T. Allen at Greater Mount Calvary, he announced his calling to be a preacher. We went through training with deacons training together. Okay. And trustee training with the church obligations, and he became a pastor. And so I watched the lineage of family members go through from my dad to my brother and my 2 brother-in-laws. And so I was looking at the structure on how things go. You visit different churches and you listen to some of the preachers. And one thing I found out by playing at different churches, I've always been part of a Bible study. And so that kind of taught me what this preacher was actually teaching. Because sometimes, most of the time, we hear them on a Sunday, but the Bible study is what people don't see. And that's where I came in as a musician. I work with different musicians as well. They didn't even participate in Bible study. They just show up to play on Sunday. And that's all they're concerned with, you know.
You wanted to know what you were part of.
Yeah, I wanted to know, what is this man teaching? You know, preaching is one thing. What is he teaching these people? You know, and so I started looking at their lives and how the church started changing and the effect that it had on people financially, physically, family, the ministers and the pastors that go to the hospital, the nursing home, the funeral home, the family members and stuff like that, how they treated people over a period of years, how many churches went through different pastors, what was the church doing for its leadership, you know, how this church progressed and regressed. I watched churches open and I watched them close.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, and so that's what kind of motivated me, like, you know. Then I seen the stuff on TV, you know. TV evangelists, you know, you watch stuff on TV and then when you document it, you see what's true and what's not true. And, you know, it just hit me one day, you know, a lot of these guys are not preaching, they pimping.
Okay. So you have literature here with us. Can you show us your book?
Yeah, the book here is Pimping and Preaching is it's kind of diverse. I wanted to pick a picture that depict neutral.
Neutral.
Yeah, so I didn't want to put a face to it for no denomination or no culture or no color. And so because all over the world, you know, we have seen ministers falling, the preaching part of the ministry. And a lot of times, most of it is just lack of accountability on the people part, you know, what people allow, what people, you know, agree to.
Okay.
So not just here I always say from Asia to Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So it covers like A to Z.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely when you have a platform, you have, influence. You're influencing one way or the other.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more. What's pimping or preaching? What is that?
Well, the basis of the books, I always say the premise of the book is to define what's preaching and what's pimping. Preachers have been called by God to proclaim the gospel. The pimping lives off the backs and the earnings of the people.
Sure, I mean.
And so basically, you know, and when we use scripture, I tell people, look, I didn't start this. You know, this came from Jesus himself. You know, in the book of Matthew, I'll just take that scripture, Matthew 24:24. You know, when Jesus said, false prophets shall come in my name, and they will deceive even the elect, meaning God's chosen people. These are words came from Jesus himself. So this is nothing that, you know, it's not a book of Brown. You know, I don't have no chapters in the Bible. You know, the Bible goes back, you know, thousands of years. So the premise was set from Jesus himself. So I tell people, look, if you got a problem with it, you got a problem with Jesus. You know, God's son, not me. You know, all I'm doing is re-emphasizing what he spoke.
Just highlighting.
Yeah.
Highlighting and bringing awareness to it. Bringing awareness to it. What was the moment that you felt like you had to write this book?
When I started seeing some of the churches and the ministry on TV, evangelists, the millions of people that was gullible. When I was a little boy, I remember I used to cut grass, you know, and I used to watch some of the elderly people go to their house, and when I get to cutting their grass, they had a Bible open, and sometimes they'd have this guy back in the day, Reverend Ike. You know, he made millions of dollars off of the elderly and off other people just being gullible. I don't know if you ever heard of, some of them used to tell the people, lay your hands on the radio, I'm going to pray for you. You can buy this prayer cloth for $10.99, $20.99 or whatever.
I had.
Yeah, you know, some of them even selling, they call it anointed oil online. They got some preachers even saying if you put your hand on this and you trace your hand, they got scriptures to it, and you send it in with an offering, they're going to bless you. You know, so it's all kind of gimmicks that they use to, and that's what Jesus was talking about. They would deceive even the elect. And so your associate degree, your bachelor's, your master's, because you're going into an arena that you have no experience in. And so I was just fortunate. I thank God, my dad being a pastor, my brother being called to ministry, and my two brother-in-laws. And so I watched the behavior for 50 years. And so that's where the book came from, you know. And I realized that, you know, when people say the number system 1, and in the book of Matthew 6:33, it says, seek ye first the kingdom. So if God is first and everything else is second, he goes on and say, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So it kind of personalizes it. And so if God is going to be first, everything else is second, third, or fourth. The problem is a lot of time the students don't go home and do the homework, what the teacher is teaching. They just believe what they say. You know, I've been to churches where people don't even open their Bible up.
Yeah.
You know, so if they turn to King James Version, Amplified Version, Common English Version, NIV, you know, New King James Version, they got different versions of the Bible to make it easier for you to read, you know. And so a lot of times, you know, we used to go to the library and check out books when we were young, but you can go online now and look at so much stuff now. And so the deception is even more greater now because, you know, you can receive stuff and you can put information out real quick now online that's really more deceptive, you know.
And be able to package in certain ways as well. So tell me about the others, the ones that are not, that have not been released. We have Single Life, Build a Band, The Way I See It, Pre-Marriage.
Pre-marriage 1, pre-marriage 2.
Yeah. Is there a reason why they haven't been released yet?
Yeah,
just
well,
working?
I had Pimping and Preaching was a larger book, and my publisher, Darlene Mangum, she has a book out, The Pearls for Girls.
Oh, okay.
And she advised me to condense it down. So I condensed it down, you know, it was a little bit thicker than that, condensed it down. So, and I'm still working on other stuff, you know, too. And so I thank her, you know, for editing a lot of things that I did. But Single Life, The Basics, The Listen Rule, Build a Man, and Pre-Marriage 1, Pre-Marriage 2. But Pimping and Preaching, you know, it's kind of dear to me because what it does, it covers the people that following God's people. So, you know, and I always say, if you got insurance, you have to pay for it.
Okay.
But if you got assurance, you got to pray for it.
Okay.
And so I tell people, look, you know, even with the things that's going on, people always say, we're going to pray. Mass shootings, we're going to get together. No matter what religion you are, I found out, in crisis, people believe in God in crisis. You know, I think the Bible was sold more during COVID than any other time in the world. And then people go back to doing what they normally do. You know, so Pimping and Preaching, to me, the church has been doing a lot of good things because I think over 80% of the church and the ministry is going forward in a positive way.
That's good.
It's the 20% of influence that's going the other way that sometimes will detour the people that's already going where they need to go.
And that pulls at your heart.
Yeah, it kind of pulls at my heart because I know we could do better. You know, when we say we're going to, you know, family that stays together, pray together, you know, that's one thing. But, you know, we say we're going to do it, but then we don't. You know, so Pimping has been a part of some of their ministry. But I support preachers, you know. You know, I think, you know, even in Scripture, you know, the Bible says, you know, that's going to time will come when they won't hear sound doctrine. So there are people out here that's actually preaching and doing what they're supposed to do in the ministry, and I applaud them for that.
Yeah, it sounds like you do. It sounds like you do. Well, we are, you know, getting close to our time. Is there anything that you would like to tell the audience before we wrap it up? This has been really interesting. As we said before, I knew that we're going to have to talk again because...
Well, I just want to say, too, I know a long time ago when I spoke earlier about, you know, people giving. They used to give in envelopes. And they used to bring the tithes to the church. So now you got Zeal, you got Giveify, you got different things now that you can actually give to the church. You know, so it turned the ministry around. you know, for the better. Okay. You know, and so a lot of those things have been in a benefit for the church. You know, my prayer and my hope is that the people of God will continue to do what they're supposed to do. Okay. You know, and church is not about perfection. You know, it's about the commitment. You know, and so we all have flaws. And so I urge people, you know, to hold a church accountable, hold a pastor accountable, but also embrace them. Also embrace it, you know, because it's not
a tough job.
Yeah, it's a tough job. You know, it's a tough job in the ministry. You know, like I said, you know, pastors have fallen all over the world, but then you have pastors all over the world that have kept the faith, you know, and done what they're supposed to do. And so we have seen a lot of positivity in the ministry.
Great. How can we reach you? How can the audience reach you?
You can reach me by David J. Brown. I
think we talked. We mentioned it earlier.
The email.
Let's say it again.
You can reach me by my email, davidjbrowndrums@yahoo.com, or you can reach me by my phone number, 49771-1449, or you can reach me at 49770-0667, or you can reach me by Studio B or the Hair Place, or you can reach me by get in touch with the Linzie Show.
The Linzie Show. I will definitely pass on the information.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Mr. David, you know, thank you. Thank you for trusting me with your accomplishments and all that you do and have to offer, and sharing your life and your experience here. So with that being said, you know, we are here at the end of our show, which is the Anna Linzie Show, here every Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. But, you know, I know that you are available for motivation speaking opportunity or bookings. So before we close, what does that look like? What type of motivational speaking would you do if someone was wanting to use you as your come to their
I'll always
service?
say for the book, first of all, in the format for the book, I always say great preachers, you know, they make scriptures come alive. They bring out the wisdom and life-changing truths, you know, in God's word, and they make the Bible relatable. Okay. And they make you go home and well, not make you, but they push you to go home and read your Bible and study. Yeah. And so I'm reminded, people always get me mistaken with my brothers being in ministry, but I'm the guy, 2 Timothy 2:15, that says, study to show thy self-approval, a workman need not be ashamed, so you rightly divide the word of God. And that's what my aim, my goal is. It's a quest for me, you know. And so, and I'm just reminded in Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, they moan and groan. You know, thank God for righteous people.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Good. Well, again, thank you guys for joining the Anna Linzie Show. You have heard it from my dear friend, Mr. David Brown.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I'm looking forward to future endeavors with you. So, again, thank you, audience, for showing up to Anna Linzie Show on Clark TV Network.
Thank you.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.